Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Teen Wisdom Tuesday. And today I want to talk about that everlasting question that teenagers probably have always asked and always will ask. And it's the question of, why do I have to learn this? As a high school teacher, I got that question all of the time. And I know parents are always getting that question from their teens. Many teens feel stuck. They've been doing school for a very long time. They've been studying for a long time, and they don't always have that capacity to conceptualize how things might be useful to them down the line in the future. And sometimes as adults, we really want to jump in and give them a really great answer about why they have to learn what they are learning. But let's be honest, there isn't always a super great reason on the surface. And so today, that's why I want to really talk about what that question is really all about. So we have all heard it. Student is frustrated, they've been at it for a while, and they just are like, what's the point? What's the point of learning this? I just don't get it. And excuse me. One of the things that's happening with this question is teens are searching for their place in the world. And one of the ways that teens develop is by pushing against authority. So they say, I reject this, I don't want to, I'm not going to. Another thing that's happening in this equation that's even more significant, I would say, is that teens are also searching for their purpose. The biggest piece that happens in adolescence is developing their sense of identity, of who they are and where they fit into a much bigger purpose. This is a spiritual journey. They are wondering, where do I fit? Where do people fit in this big picture? What's the point of any of this? And so these are really important existential questions, questions about our existence, questions about our life and what we believe this is all about. Now, I know that your teen probably does not even realize that that's the kind of question that they're asking when they're frustrated with their homework. But that is really what is at the core of this. This is a fundamentally important human question. What's the point of any of this? What are we doing here? And why does it matter? Now, before you feel like rushing in and giving your teen a really big answer to a question they probably didn't even know that they had, it's just important that as adults, we know that this is what they are wondering at the core of their spirit. What's the point of any of this? And the question that's most pertinent for teens is, what difference does it make if I do this or don't do this? And so that's when we come in with our adult answers. You need this for the future. You need to, for example, study in math class so you can pass, so you can graduate high school, so you can go on to college, and we roll out the future. And that can be really helpful. But in the short term, that doesn't alleviate any of the pain that the students are feeling right then. Another thing that we often talk about is we'll say, well, this is teaching you how to learn, which is true, but when so many of the courses that students are taking seem like they have very little application to their own life, then that one becomes hard to swallow too, because they think, well, I'm taking a whole bunch of courses that are teaching me how to learn. Why this? And so here's kind of to add on to that question of it's teaching you how to learn. Even more than that, it is developing who you are. It is informing who you are. It is forming who you are. So we often feel like information is something out there, right? We can Google it and find the information. But really what we want is learning to be formational. It's not something outside of us, it's inside of us, it's forming who we are. You become a different person when you understand this element of mathematics than if you don't understand it. And so we sometimes have to help our teens see that we expect, first of all, that we will automatically understand how it applies to their life right now. And that's really short-sighted. We also have to think about who needs to understand mathematics. We need people to understand it. Every time I drive over a bridge, I am grateful that someone has done the math to figure out that the weight of my car is going to be held up by the materials that they've used and all of the workings that have gone into figuring that out. And so in that way, as a society, someone needs to understand this math. And unless we teach it to young people, we won't know who's really going to pick it up and carry it forward for our entire civilization and who is not. I am glad that I have not been entrusted with the mathematical understanding of our civilization. We'd be going downhill fast. Instead, I have gifts in a different area, and those are the things that I am carrying on and bringing forward. So I hope that helps shift that question, because for teens, in many respects, it's very personal and very much about them. But if we can help them recognize that someone needs to carry this knowledge, and it may be them and it may not be them, and that's okay. And it also does inform who they are. It makes a difference, and we can't always know how it's going to be applicable down the road. I can't tell you how many times I have thought about pieces of knowledge, things that I have learned, experiences I've had that I thought would never really be significant in the future, and all of a sudden they were. It's formed who I am. And so I hope that can also be another nugget that can help you to reframe those questions with your teens. Another piece is resilience. Building resilience. And this is where we often go when we say, well, it teaches you how to think. When your teen is struggling with their classwork, with their course content, going back to that math example, I struggled tremendously with math. I did well in all of my other courses, but by grade 11, math class was really difficult for me. But I also did not have very many skills of resilience. I was really unwilling to ask my teacher for help, because I didn't think that she would be able to help me. I didn't think she'd be able to explain it in another way. And I know that is blocking a lot of teens from asking for help. And so that may be another piece where we can say, part of the reason why you are learning this is because this is a block for you right now. And what we're recognizing is when you come into difficulty, it's hard for you to reach out for help. Those are the skills that you're going to need for your entire life. So let's figure it out right now and just say, it's through math class that we're coming to this lesson with you. So now what are the next steps? And really coming alongside your teen and empowering them to recognize that there are skills here, not just mathematical skills or whatever the course content is, but also real life applicable skills that they are learning through this. And also that the question of what's the point of all of this is a really important question. And the more we can hold that with our children and our teens and not rush in with an easy answer, but just continue to share why it's important for us, they can start to see how we are all creating meaning in our lives. And sometimes you can say to your teen, hi, Karen. That's not what you're going to say to your teen, but I just see Karen popping in. Hi, Karen. Sometimes what you can say to your teen is, that's actually a really important question. And I've had different answers throughout my life. And the answer I have right now is, the point of this is that we can love each other and support each other. And that just gives you one example. And so I always think of it like this. Whenever our teens are throwing out a question, like, what's the point of this? We can take that question up. Take it up. And often we want to say, here's the answer. You just need to suck it up and do it. And that's okay once in a while. But if we can really hear what the question is from the perspective of their development, of their spirit's yearning to be connected into something bigger than themselves, then that is how we're going to create a massive connection with our teens. And that's what we are all after. So the question of what's the point of all of this isn't really about the schoolwork. That's surface level. If we can take it up and help them recognize that this is an incredibly powerful question that you've just asked, and you may not even know it. And this is what we are figuring out every day of our lives. We are creatures that are built to create meaning out of our lives. And how are you going to build meaning around what you're doing? For those teens who have a sense of purpose down the line, oh, I'm going to be a doctor. Okay, well, this is the small step I've got to overcome to get to pass, to go through this, to get into college, to become a doctor. They have some clear steps for themselves that keep them going. But many adolescents don't have that sense of clarity. And so the question of what is the point of this? Sometimes the answer is that's unfolding. That's continuing to unfold. Yeah, Karen, who's here with us, has been a teacher as well, and she knows connection. That was a major barrier for parents and their teens. Yeah, we're really working on helping find those connecting points because your teens are growing into adults. And what I want for every parent is to have an incredible relationship with your child when they are still an adult, so that you can have a relationship that is sharing among adults. Yes, they will always be your child. There will always be that parent-child dynamic, but the more we can build our relationship towards long-term sustainable interaction, then the more connected we will be with them when they're adolescents. So really recognize that no matter what your beliefs are in terms of religion or spirituality, your teen is searching for meaning. They're searching for a place to connect. They're searching for a place where they belong. And so it's our responsibility as adults in their life to help them understand what that looks like. Not that we have to step in with all of the answers, because we often don't have all of the answers, but that we just need to validate that they are asking really important questions and that they are creating a life of meaning every day. Not down the line when they have a career, but right now when they're 15, when they're 13, when they're 12. So that is my teen wisdom for this Tuesday. When you get that question, what's the point? It is a much deeper yearning and searching that your teen is asking about. It's never just the surface level of school. That's just the tip of the iceberg that they're struggling with right now. But they actually have a deep soul's yearning for connection and purpose. So if you have more questions, if this brings up more questions than answers for you, just send me a private message or write in the comments below, and I would love to connect with you. I do have some time this week in my schedule where we could chat for 30 minutes. It's completely complimentary, and I'm offering that to people because what I really want for you is to build that massive connection with your teens so that you can be an influence in their life. Because if you're an adult in their life and you're not having a big influence on your teen, you have to wonder what is influencing them right now. And you really need to step in, and there are major opportunities to weigh in on their lives and be an incredible positive influence for them. And I'm here to help you do that. So go ahead and reach out. And hi, Natasha, I can see that you're watching too. Okay, everyone, that's it for Teen Wisdom Tuesday this week. Same time, same place next week. I'll see you right here for Teen Wisdom Tuesday. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.